Hi there, good morning everybody, and welcome to our Safe Learning Environments parent webinar. I'm hoping some of you are able to see this and watch this at home. This will be recorded just for people to know as well. So this is recorded, it's available online on our YouTube channel on this link. So you'll be able to watch this again later should you choose to, or if you're unable to watch it, you'll be able to catch up with it later on. Hopefully this will be a useful webinar, and it will have we've got lots of our teachers here to help out. We've got Zoe, who is our year leader for year one. We've also got Miss Sasha Heathcock, who is our FS2 year leader. And then we've also got Miss Hannah, who is our head of early years. So there's hopefully there'll be lots of information coming to you, and you will walk away feeling a little bit more sure and have some of your worries or questions answered. So it's been lovely to see so many of your faces on the gates, either at pickup or at drop off. And we feel that the children have settled in incredibly well, and the teachers at the moment are working on their gaps and settling the children in, finding out, where they are, what they need to work on, and then hopefully moving through the curriculum and supporting the children. A key area that the teachers are all really focusing on across the entire school, from our FS1s all the way to our year sixes, is making sure that our children are feeling safe and secure being back in school, that they're building relationships with their classmates and with their teachers, and just really spending time on that nurturing element. But the children are very, very settled. They're smiling away. There's a real buzz around the school, and it's so lovely to have everybody back in together. The teachers are ensuring that they're getting outside and utilising the outdoors now that the weather is finally improving and it's cooling down a bit. Yes, the teachers are utilising the many different spaces we have around school, particularly our FSs and our year ones with their outdoor areas that they have. But all the way up to year six, we're really trying to get the children to go outside, to stretch their legs, make sure that they're not staying in the areas that they've been working on or working in during that day, but they're also getting out of those spaces. So that's happening across the school. It's a bit different this year. We're not able to chat to our parents, and the parents aren't able to have that conversation every day with their class teacher as easily as they used to do in the past. And you don't get to come into school and see our environment in our school as much as you would have. So I can absolutely understand and sympathise why there's a lot of questions, why some parents might feel a bit unsure about what school looks like now. Obviously, we've sent out lots of information, documents, protocol telling you what it should look like, but I think obviously for you guys to be able to see it yourselves. So hopefully this is the next best thing. You are interacting with your teachers. I've spoken to all the teachers across the school, and you're emailing them or you're using Seesaw as a way of communication. And obviously that's what you need to do when you can't have those proper conversations at the door and at pickup like we used to be able to. So hopefully today you will be finding out about the environment, about all the health and safety measures that we have in place. You will find out from Zoe and Sasha what a typical day looks like in FS and in year one. And then at the end of the session, towards the end, hopefully if we have time, there'll be a question and answers opportunity where you will be able to type some questions into the comments box, which is just there for you, I think. And if you don't see that comments box or that questions or chat box, then you might need to reload this page. I'll still be here, don't worry. Reload this page, and that will be somewhere useful for you to be able to type questions. A lot of information also is on our mobile app. We have a whole COVID section on our mobile app, so make sure you are checking that regularly. I always suggest at least every day. And there's also updated information on our distance learning procedures, because I know there was a document that was updated last week clarifying the distance learning procedure with the number of weeks that a child needs to commit to. And I believe it's changed to 2 weeks now from many, but there's lots and lots of examples on this document and different scenarios. If your child's unwell, if your child is off for COVID reasons, or if you're on holiday, there's different scenarios there for you. So please do make sure that you're checking the mobile app. There's lots of information there to help you. So we have very, very strict guidelines and protocols that we have to follow at school. Every school in Dubai in the UAE has to follow these guidelines. And we have regular visits from MOE, the ministry, from the KHDA, from the Labour Office, from the DHA, and from the RTA. And these different groups, they come into the school, they assess how we are following the guidelines and the protocols, and they check constantly that we are following these systems, and they give us feedback, or there would be fines across, and there are schools where it's if they're not adhering to the guidelines, there may be fines. So hence why sometimes it feels like we're being incredibly strict on, for example, the one-way systems around school. And honestly, we thank you so much for being so cooperative and for following these strict lines. But hence, this is some of the reasons why we are having to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe and we're following the guidelines that we've been given. The last lady that came to visit us last week, I think she was from the KHDA, she was very, very impressed with what we had in place. And that was wonderful feedback for us to hear as well, because we feel it's going incredibly well. So some of the things that we have to follow and are some of the guidelines, which many of you are aware of, but I'll just sum up here. We have to have our thermal scanning every day, and this is for staff and for children. So every day your child has their temperature checked, either with a handheld temperature or on one of our thermal scanners around school before they can enter the building. And they also have their shoes disinfected before walking inside as well. If we have a case in school of a COVID case, then the Dubai Health Authority gives us very strict advice and guidance on how to manage and support if such things happen. We also have 2 nurses on site, and we have a doctor on site as well, who are also around to help us out throughout the days. Hygiene is extremely high across the school. We have cleaners, extra cleaners employed now, who are constantly cleaning those heavily used spaces around school, whether we're looking at door handles or bathrooms or cleaning surfaces, as well as our class teachers and our assistants who are cleaning non-stop and making sure that we're sterilising and making sure the areas that children are utilising are clean after each visit. Obviously, as you know, our visitors are restricted on site, so parents aren't able to come on site as they used to. And I really am so proud of those year 1 children now who are managing to walk up to school, walk into their classrooms by themselves and independently. So those 3 classes upstairs, it's wonderful, mums and dads for year 1, if you're able to let your child now say goodbye at the gate and let them come in, because obviously we're going to have to keep restricting now for our year 1 parents coming on site, because our FSs do not come into the classroom or into the building in any way. So thank you, year 1 parents, if you're helping your children to support themselves and coming in confidently. There are many, many adults across the school who are there to guide your child and to help them make sure they get to the correct space. All teachers, and when they're in school, they're wearing a mask. I'm in an enclosed room here by myself, so I've got my mask down today, but whenever we are out and about, every member of staff is wearing a mask, and children from years 2 to 6 are also wearing masks. And we have these wonderful masks also for phonics, that have a clear space where the children are able to look at the teacher's lips and being able to help work out those sounds. That's really, really supporting our children as well. So they also, every member of staff also has a special phonics mask as well that is able to be used during the day. And we have lots of other things to follow, such as limiting the number of children that are inside a bathroom or a toilet at a time, so it's only 1 at a time. And we're obviously following the 1.5 metres in classrooms or 2 metres around the school for social distancing. Obviously, FS and year 1 are slightly different to the rest of the school, as they have stable groups. And this is what you'll be finding out a bit more about this morning in this webinar. Often these stable groups are referred to as bubbles. It's a nicer word, we feel. And the maximum guidance we have is maximum 10. Now, our children at maximum capacity, those bubbles, those stable groups will be a maximum of maybe 8, 9. But due to all the absences that we have and that children are selecting to do distance learning at home, there's never more than 8 in a bubble at the moment across FS and year 1. In those spaces, we're still trying to maintain 1.5 metres as much as we can. And again, every class list, there's a maximum of 25 children in each class list. And that's something we've always stuck with right the way from when the doors opened to this school. In our 8th year we are now. So there's 25 children in a class. But for FS and year 1, those children are broken up into 3 groups, into 3 bubbles of a maximum size of 8. So regardless of how many children we still have doing distance learning or online, there will only ever be a maximum of 25 per class list for that teacher. Just making sure that that's clear for most parents there. And as much as possible, we try to maintain the same adult for the day throughout the day, and making sure that there's very little shared resources. And when resources are shared, that they're sterilised in between and they're cleans in between as well, including, obviously, we have limits now of not being able to use soft toys and furnishings like we had before. So everything is very much surfaces that can be cleaned and materials and resources that can be wiped and disinfected and sterilised. We do have specialist lessons starting. All our children across the school have PE lessons, and alongside that, year 1 also have a music teacher who comes and can stand at the front of their room and teach them some songs and do music lessons, as well as we have reintroduced year 1 parents an Arabic session for our children to keep maintaining the Arabic songs and the basic introduction to Arabic, and just keeping their Arabic skills up to par. So I've rabbited on enough. I'm sure you'd like to hear from your year leaders. So we've got Miss Sasha and Miss Zoe, and also, as I said, Miss Hannah will be talking after those two to talk about some communication and well-being. And then there will be followed with a Q&A where all of us should be on the screen together and be able to help out and answer some of the questions that you might have. So over to Miss Sasha Heathcock. Are you there, Miss Sasha?
I am. Hello. Good morning, everyone. And I thought that I'd quickly share with you what we do in FS2 at the moment. Obviously, you're all aware it's slightly different to the normal, the normality of life in FS, but we're trying to keep it as same as normal, and the children seem to be extremely settled, which is amazing. So for us as teachers, that was our main aim, and our new way of teaching them in FS has been a success so far. So that's a big thumbs up to you as parents for helping us out with them coming in independently into the classroom. They're so happy now to have their temperature taken, and they're really obviously excited to come and be with their friends. So like Miss Laura was saying, I wanted to just go through what we do at school and our daily routine. So recently we've been going over and recapping over a lot of things that might have been covered or missed in term 3 due to online learning, or due to children maybe not doing online learning for term 3. So we were making sure we were filling those gaps as teachers to make sure they are ready for the academic side. And we really have focused on our PSCD, making sure the children are happy emotionally, socially, they're becoming independent learners, they're finding their own things. And honestly, it's been amazing to watch how independent they are. And we've also worked a lot on our communication and language skills, making sure they're talking to their teachers, to their friends, and building up those positive relationships. So we have also been working on our physical development, focusing on our fine motor skills. So that's a big area for us in FS at the moment. So as you can see from the pictures, you'll see a lot of children using their fine motor grips and making sure that their hands are ready for doing lots of squiggle where you wiggle, do disco, and pre-writing. So this week we've been adding more to our timetable just to make sure the children are settled, and it's coming in slowly and gradually back into the normality of teaching. So we've introduced our phonics, our maths, we've been doing communication language, knowledge and understanding the world, handwriting and maths. So we've been fitting in a lot, and the children seem to be loving it. We've also been using our outdoor spaces a lot for this. So as you're aware, we have 3 groups of 8 in our classrooms, and all the children are having access to outside. Obviously, it's quite limited to the morning at the moment, just due to the weather and obviously the humidity. But as it's getting cooler, we definitely will be using the outdoor space throughout the day. And we're even looking at going on walks around the school, making sure the children are active, because I know that's something that we were concerned about, making sure the children were out and about. In terms of sanitising and things, and the children knowing where their space is and being aware of their surroundings, we've introduced something called spots. So they might come home to you and say, oh, I just got my spot today. So they've all made a spot, and they're aware that when they sit on that spot, they can use their helicopter arms, they can turn around to make sure that they've got enough space for themselves, just so that we're encouraging that 1.5 metres, but in a way that the children don't get too scared about it and think of it as a negative. It's more turned into a positive, and it's a fun thing that they get to do throughout the day. In terms of sanitising and cleaning hands, we make sure that's in our routine daily. If the children are touching things on the carpet, if pens and whiteboards and everything, they just go and sanitise their hands straight away. The same as when you watch them come into school in the morning, taking their temperature, going sanitising their hands. So it's just become normality for the children, and they actually really enjoy doing it, probably a little bit too much. So I just wanted to talk about our bubbles. And as Laura said, we have 3 bubbles, and the teacher will oversee everything that is going on in those bubbles, with resourcing, with planning, and with looking at what the children are doing. So that's something that we all do as teachers in FS1 and in FS2. The children stay together in their bubble at the moment. We haven't moved bubbles for at least 2 weeks now. The children will stay with those children in their bubble, and they move areas in FS2. So a lot of you probably are aware of them being in one area for 2 days, and then they move to another area, then they move to another area. All the activities are slightly different, so that they have different things in the areas, and it works on their academic side as well as their personal, social and emotional development. So they've really got to grips with this, and it's been amazing to see them just coming in, finding where their cubby is in their area, and just getting on with their daily routines, which is amazing. In FS1, obviously, they have the 3 areas as well, and the teachers move rather than the children, just due to their age, and just making sure that they're settled in their environment. And then moving forward, obviously, we are looking at the weather and having more brain breaks and things, and to do with books. Obviously, we're giving out library books on a Wednesday now. So when they come back in every week, we will sanitise them. And the same with reading books on a Sunday. They're going to go out now as well, and they come in on a Thursday. So obviously, we're doing music in class as well. So just like year ones, but the teachers are doing it in class. So we're getting that side of it. We're getting the library, and we're getting our reading books. So everything's coming together now, and I think the children are ready to do lots more learning. So I hope that I've covered a few things for you, but I know we're having a questions and answers session. So if you do have any questions for me, then I'll be happy to answer them in that. So I'm going to pass you on to Miss Zoe now, who's our year 1 lead. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sasha. Hi, everyone. As Sasha said, I am Miss Zoe, and I am the year 1 lead. And I just want to go over today how it looks in year 1. So like Miss Sasha said, we have 3 bubbles in year 1, and they are about 8 children in each bubble. And we have 2 bubbles within the classroom, and we have 1 bubble either in the pod or upstairs. They have a spare classroom up there, which they are also using for their bubbles. And it is myself and a CA, and then there's another CA that are overseeing the bubbles, but the planning is all done by myself and the other year 1 teachers. And that is taught at the same time. So each area, each bubble is taught the same lesson at the same time. So no children are missing out on any of the subjects. Like Sasha says, in the morning, we are doing maths and English. We also do phonics every day in the morning. That's our first thing to do. When the children come in, they are doing basic skills. And then in the afternoon, we do different subjects. So we do social studies, we do moral education, we are doing science. Also, they have their PE and music, and now the Arabic. So the children aren't missing out on any of the subjects. We've just slowly introduced more over the last few weeks as the children have settled. Like Sasha said, the children have settled in amazingly to the new way of school. They're coming into school, they know where to go now. I don't even have to tell the children which bubble to go to. They're aware of where they need to go. They know that they need to sanitize their hands and put their bags away and start their basic skills in the morning. They are really, really happy and settled. They've just got on really well. It's like it's no different to them at the moment. So we are also doing handwriting in class, and we're also doing the word of the day. Maybe the biggest difference from FS to year one is probably the amount of evidence of the children's work that goes onto Seesaw. Yes, we are continuing to put some work onto Seesaw, but most of the work now in year one will be going into their books. So you might not be seeing as much work going home, but most of it will be going in the children's book. But again, some of the teachers will be posting some of the work to Seesaw as well. And like we talked about, everything is cleaned. So for example, in maths, if we're using the Numicon, after the children have touched it, we will then make sure that that is cleaned. As you know, we're trying to use the outdoor space as much as possible. Upstairs, classrooms and the classrooms downstairs are utilising the areas that we've got. We are taking the children outside as much as possible. We are playing games with the children. Also trying to make sure that they interact with each other, but also making sure that we are socially distancing as much as possible. We go outside onto the main playground. We go into the different areas around the FS2. We also have a classroom which is upstairs, which the different classes are timetabled to use as well. So they have got that extra space just to spread out a little bit more. We're also trying to have our snacks outside as well. We are just encouraging the children to be as independent as possible. And like Miss Laura said, it's been amazing to see so many of the children coming into school on their own. It's fantastic. And again, we're also using the spots in year one as well, and making sure that if they're on the carpet, that they are socially distanced with that 1.5 meters. So it's been fantastic. The children have settled in amazingly. I'm so proud of them all. It's been fantastic. So I'm going to pass on to Miss Hannah. And then if you have any questions, please just pop it down and we'll try and answer at the end.
Hi Zoe, thank you so much for that. I just wanted to touch base with you all because yes, it's really important. I know as parents, I have the luxury of being in all of the areas. I'm in with FS1, FS2 and year one, and I can't believe how incredibly proud I am of all the parents, the teachers and the children. It makes me smile because I think sometimes that it's children that are more adaptable than the grown-ups, and actually some of the anxieties that we hold as adults, these children settle into routines much quicker than we anticipate. And that's exactly what I've seen. It's been a great transition, and if I'm honest, I know that those 2 weeks of the transitioning actually has really benefited these children. And seeing these children, I was just like looking at the pictures that were coming up and the smiles, and this is the biggest thing. These children, they've got a really great routine, they've got really great facilities, different to what we know as previously, new days, new ways kind of thing. But these children, this is the best place it could ever possibly be. And we need to think about that, the fact they are being physical. And then that's the biggest thing when we were in lockdown. I know that having a daughter myself, that was the biggest thing, that they weren't getting out and being physical. That is certainly happening in school. The fact that they're surrounded by other children, which is so healthy, not to be attached to you as just you and not having the exposure to other people. And also, the social and the environmental things that, they are getting all these different things and activities that they wouldn't receive if they were just at home. And, safety is our priority, but also ensuring that they're happy in their school environment. The independence, you know, we don't even realise it when they're at home that you do probably more things for them because they're not accessible to other things. They are becoming really independent, and we really need to encourage that even further with lots of the activities within there. I know that Zoe and both Sasha was talking about independence. That's one of our big key things, and core skills. You know, that's what we're working on. We want these children to be independent learners and confident and happy, and that's what we want. A massive round of children, and they only can do that in this school environment, in our Victory Heights community. I know there's a lot I can see down the side, that side. Don't know which way I'm pointing. So I think maybe we will bring everybody on, and then we can answer some of these questions that have been posted.
Thank you, Hannah. And the questions are just there. So
you see me? I was going, which way am I pointing? Like, yeah.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Zoe. And thank you, Sasha. Please do stay together because we'll see if we can answer some of these questions together that are coming up. And parents, please do ask questions so that we're here to ask. And it's your opportunity now to see what we can do to help you. So I can see the question here about PE for FS1. We haven't started PE in FS1 just yet because we're allowing the children to settle in. There's a big change for them in FS1. There's a lot of new routines, new environments, places for them to get used to. We are hoping to start the PE lessons FS1 from half term. Am I correct, Miss Hannah?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking that, you know, normally I know that swimming isn't taking place within the school environment, but we always normally have that first period of that half term getting them settled into routines, and it's really key before we start moving them anywhere else. And that would normally happen if we were in a normal kind of day-to-day basis anyway. So half term, that will definitely happen.
And with regards to the music and the Arabic, the FS1 teachers, there's constant music and singing going on over there. And with Arabic, we've been working closely with our Arabic department, and I know they will be, and they have already shared some Arabic songs and resources for our teachers to start using. And hopefully, inshallah, we will be hoping to introduce a bit more Arabic as the year progresses. But our FS1s are just settling into school life at the moment. Sorry, Mr. Rothwell, you have a question there. For story reading. So yes, we feel incredibly strongly that children should be able to hold a storybook, be able to hold a reading book, and be able to turn the pages, know which way round. So we put in a system to ensure with our library books and our reading scheme books that they are quarantined for 72 hours after being held from the children, and before they get given to the children, they're handed in gloved hands, so that they are clean and sterilised prior to use. So I hope that reassures you. Well, Miss Hannah?
Yeah, I was just going to say there are books accessible in the classrooms as well. Isn't that right, guys? That you know they do have that handling of on a daily basis, and they do. You know, we are quarantining, but they are very, very much within the environment as well as going home.
Wonderful. The phonics. There you go, Miss Sasha. There's a question here about different phonics groups based on the different abilities.
I think that
was relating to you. There you go, Miss Zoe.
Yeah, so obviously there is only one member of staff that will be with that bubble, but it's to that member of staff who is making sure that we are teaching phonics to every ability. So if a child needs phase 2 phonics or a child needs phase 4 phonics, no child is missing out. We are making sure that we find time during the day to make sure that those children are accessing that phonics that they need. So no children will be missing out on that area.
I'm just going to jump into Reham's had a question here about distance learning. Now, I know that as parents, you might be seeing a lot of activities that are uploaded onto Seesaw and so forth. Your class teachers would let you know if you needed to cover them, but you certainly don't need to cover them again if they're covered in school. That's either just information for you, and the teachers are already covering that. The homework that is mainly Zoe and Sasha, if you can correct me here, the homework that you set out on a Thursday, Zoe, goes onto the app and is accessible on Seesaw.
Yes, we're uploading the homework straight onto Seesaw for everyone to access.
And Sasha,
in FS2, we'll be doing our tricky words, which will go out on Seesaw on a Sunday with the reading book. And then after Christmas, it will be allocated on Seesaw.
And as we always say across the school, from FS1 all the way to year 6, reading is the most important thing as parents you can be doing at home. Whether you are sharing a book together, whether you're listening to your child read a book together, it is so, so important. So please keep reading at home. Right, next questions. Let's see where we are, Mr. Rothwell. With the weather changing and due to some exposure, children bound to get runny noses and the flu, how will missed lessons be covered so that children don't lag behind? Now, there is a document, as I said at the beginning, on the app now that clarifies exactly how, if your child is unwell, how they can access distance learning and who to contact. So please pop onto the app. There's a document there. I think it's 3rd or 4th post down at the moment, and there is an updated protocol sheet, and it will tell you exactly who you need to contact if your child's not well enough to come to school, but obviously so that they can still access the lessons, the activities that are available for them as either FS or year 1. And Hannah?
Yeah, also I was just thinking as I'm listening, you know, if your child is unwell and you are a bit worried, can I just say the core skills? If you're reading with them, if they have an ability to do their sight words, and if they're doing number recognition and writing, if they're just doing that on a daily basis, those things are really key. You know, they're not missing out. Those things are always going to be. So I would get the year leads to make sure that goes out of the things that you can just do on a daily basis, whether they're in school or not in school, that you can pick up. Because
and we also try to put as much on the blurb as well. We've kind of changed the way we do blurbs in FS2, just so that we're giving you more information about what's going to come instead of what's happened. So that if you are off, hopefully there'll be something on there that you know children are learning these sounds, that we're working on this for the term, so that you can have an insight into the following week rather than what we've thought, just so that you have that little step ahead of what's going on that next week.
And the weekly blurb or the weekly newsletter from the year leader is emailed to you, but it's also available on the app as well, so that you can always see, celebrate and what's coming up. Okay, next question, Mr. Rothwell. Here we go. Are the bubbles in year 1 split according to abilities? Zoe?
So a number of things went into the decision of what bubbles the children were in. It wasn't just on ability at all. Obviously, it does play a little factor, but it wasn't at all. We had to look at friendships. We had to look at how certain children worked with each other. So there was a lot that went into consideration. So it was not just based on ability at all.
Thank you, Zoe. Let's see what other question we have here. We really do support, this is an important question about the children staying home if they're not well. I guess if they have a bit of a runny nose, the nurse is probably your first port of call to just double check. You can drop her an email at nurse@bhprimary.com. But if a child is showing cold symptoms, is showing unwell, please do keep your child at home, making sure that we're not sharing or spreading any viruses. That is much appreciated. But any concerns that you have or anything you're not sure about, please message our nurse and she will give you some guidance and advice as well. But we do suggest ultimately as parents to make sure that you're looking at your children in the morning, you're checking how they're feeling, seeing how they are before you think about sending them into school. That's so important. And our parents have been fantastic. You guys have been amazing. So thank you for supporting with that. Next question. When will they get the timetables for FS1? Now, we did upload some timetables onto the app, and we are constantly changing and adapting and moving our timetables at the moment. So all the timetables should be uploaded by Sunday morning. The most updated and current one should be by Sunday morning is what we're working on at the moment. But there are some timetables there on the app. I'm not sure about the FS ones. I'll have to double check. All right, but all of the timetables will be correct and updated by Sunday morning. Arabic classes, was this regarding, for year 1, we've started our Arabic classes for their groups. For FS, we are still waiting for the children to settle, waiting to see how timetables work and how we can safely manage our Arabic lessons. Because obviously higher up the school, the children have their own devices, but further down, that isn't the way it would work. And we just need to make sure we can manage this safely and see what would be the best way of doing it rather than rushing into something. Next question. Oh, thank you. That's a nice comment. And I think, there you go.
Look at that.
I think it was about, do we have to assist our children at home in the music lessons or the Arabic through Seesaw, or was this already done in FS2? Sasha?
Yes, so we are doing currently our music lessons at the moment in class, and we will be trying to post as much on Cecil so that you can see the feedback from that lesson, and Miss Joy then can monitor it. And in Arabic, we're getting songs and things from Miss Myrna, but hopefully we might have something soon, as Miss Laura said, just waiting for the children to settle down, but they're doing really well, so hopefully.
So as a parent, does a parent need to see the music and the Arabic at home that's on Seesaw, or is that already covered in school, Sasha?
So it's covered in school. We have the videos online, but we have access to them, so don't worry about doing it at home. Only if you're an online learner where you have to do Arabic and music at home.
Okay. Brilliant. Well, thank you, parents, mums and dads, for watching. I hope you found this useful. Again, we will keep adding, we're always reflecting, we're always listening, and we will keep adding more webinars as and when we see they will work best for you. And we are looking at a date soon for you to be able to have a parent consultation meeting with your class teachers. So watch the space. We shall announce a date for you to be able to have your settling in parent consultation meeting with each class teacher, which of course, as any parent would want to have that time to talk to the teacher, find out how their child is settling in, finding out some targets for them to work on. And yeah, and that would be very useful. One last question, Miss Zoe, if you can have a read nice and quickly.
Yep, we are going to be re-looking at the bubbles over the next 2 weeks, and then hopefully we can change the bubbles after half term, so that, because I know that some children are missing certain friendships who are in different bubbles, so we are going to be re-looking at the bubbles after half term.
Lots of lovely comments. Thank you so much. It's been incredibly challenging times, but to be honest, honestly, the support from you parents has been incredible, and we really, really thank you. I think all of us working together, it's made such a difference and made sure the start of this academic year, as crazy as it is, has gone incredibly smoothly. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from Miss Sasha and Miss Zoe and Miss Hannah. I know they thank too. And thank you, ladies, for helping today and for sharing your wisdom with our wonderful parents. And yeah, that's it from me. Anything from anyone else?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Later on. Thanks, mums and dads. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.